joined by pro punter Trevor Lawson. How you going, Trev?
Good, mate. Good.
Back from the beach?
Back from the beach, yeah, and brought the warm weather back with me. Until yesterday, anyway.
Yeah, you're up north till last weekend, but yeah, had to go up Sandown and had a bloody good day in the end. Got a few winners.
Yeah, I think we bet in 3 races and backed 3 winners, so it was a sort of good day. Traditionally, it's always sort of been a good meeting in the past, and yeah, I'm hoping going forward that we find a few more winners.
Yeah, it's I guess the official end to the Spring Carnival this weekend, and head up to Ballarat for the Ballarat Cup. Not somewhere where you typically bet year round. Is it generally just a once a year type of thing for you?
Generally, yeah. I mean, I do bet there off and on, but this meeting in the past has been quite good as well. It's difficult tomorrow, but it's been quite good. As Pakenham Cup in 2 weeks, it's the Country Cups are sort of not too bad. They're basically city class horses and city class prize money, and city class jockeys. So it's basically a city meeting. It's just says Ballarat.
Yeah, right. And the track itself at Ballarat. Anything there that you're particularly aware of as a punter or wary of?
Traditionally, it can play leaderish when the rails goes back in the true on this day, which happens at a lot of the country cup meetings because they protect the inside, and in their past meetings they move the rail out and then they go back into the rail true for the fresh ground, and generally it's the best ground. So it'll either play even or it'll play leaderish. I don't think it'll play away from the fence.
So you'll be watching over the first few races to get a bit of an idea?
Yeah, actually I'm hopeful to have get a track report, but I won't get it. I won't get it till just prior to the first race. So,
okay.
We'll
have a quick look at the Cup. It's race 8 tomorrow. The over 2,000 metres. Early markets. It's like Dr. Drill's actually been backed in a bit.
Harbour Views Harbour Views was second emergency. It was about $3.50, and it came out about half an hour ago. So the market would have trimmed up slightly with it coming out.
How does your market look?
I'm wide open. I've got sort of 50 stars, Dr. Drill and WT equal favourites, but at around $7.50.
Yep. So, of those 3, any in particular that are, I guess a lot, the form lines, WT's been pretty good.
WT's been going good. I think it wasn't sort of too bad at odds. There's a couple of other interesting runners. Plain Seal hasn't had much luck. I think it's got some sort of hope as well. And the Lord Mayor I thought it was an interesting runner. It's 4th up, and comes from Sydney Waller Horse. It's come down from Sydney Waller Horse. Has produced a big figure down here once before at Moonee Valley. I thought it looked like a target race for one of his, and he's put his sort of jockey on that he uses down here, Walker. So I can have it a lot shorter than what price it is in the market.
Yeah, right. Yeah, there's a few pretty short in the market, so if you're $7 a field, perhaps a bit of a trap for punters tomorrow, you think?
A little bit. Well, Dr. Drill's been up for, I'm just looking here. Dr. Drill had its first run this spell on the 13th of April. And he's 41 days between runs. He hasn't run since the Cranbourne Cup, which will have been 41 days ago. So and he basically just does the same figure pretty much all the time, and he sort of rises in weight a bit. So I thought he was sort of a bit of a risk. He'll get the right run with Williams on it. 50 stars. It's a slight query in the trip, but it ran okay the other day. And WT's just in good form and ran well at Kyneton and his previous, won his previous 4 rating well, and he sort of gets in on the minimum.
Got the 60.5 kilos, 50 stars.
Yeah, well, he's sort of, he's won Group 2s. He's won 2 Group 2s, so he sort of deserves the sort of weight. He ran 5th in the weight for age race the other day. He over-raced a bit and sort of ran all right in the McKinnon. So he sort of has the class edge. And for that he gets the weight.
Yeah.
So.
Also, I was just going to have a bit of a look at race 9, which is the Magic Millions 3 and 4 year olds. Again, reasonably short favourite in Little Contra at $2.70. From F Troop at $4.40 and King of Hastings at $4.60.
I thought it was a bit of a false favourite, Little Contra.
Yep.
Got consistent ratings for it, but I've got a couple other horses that got better ratings. It's run 4th the other day to Exceedance and Bivouac down the straight in the Coolmore, but it was beaten 4.7 lengths, which is a long way.
Yep.
The start before it run 2nd at Caulfield in the it was a list, I forget what it's called now, but that was on the middle day of the carnival.
Yeah.
Ran 2nd down a Heed.
Yep.
Nothing's won out of that race yet. A couple have run all right, but so I'm surprised it was so short when I went to the market. I think King of Hastings has got a good chance. It's goes good fresh. It's a consistent horse, pretty good figures. It's got Williams on it. The interesting other runner is Starfall. It's first up. It flew last prep, but it's had 245 days off. But I think it's a pretty good horse. It's trolled up nicely. Zara goes on. It's one of their go-to jockeys. And I thought F Troop, I sort of have to get some ratings off Cameron for it, but they're not massive figures that I've got for it, and it's got 59. It's got to carry the it's up, it's 59 kilos, so it's given weight to King of Hastings and that. So I was sort of, and it's changed trainers. It's gone to McAvoy.
Yep.
So just at the odds, I was happy to, happy to try and back Star of Fall and King of Hastings, and thought Academe had some hope. It sort of runs on okay, and it's no star, but it's consistent, and if the speed is on, it's got some sort of hope. So just thought in the early markets there was a couple of horses that were sort of false favourites, and was happy to bet around them.
Yeah. Is there anything you can say in general about races where there's a false favourite, in terms of, do you often look to lay, or are you backing around them, or?
First thing is to try and bet around them.
Yep.
But you say you just try. In this situation, I can back a couple others.
Yep.
But sometimes you still got the horse's favourite, but they're just under the odds.
Yep. And
then generally you might bet against them, but only if you can back your second and third pick and they're good overs. But if they're just what odds they should be, well, there's sort of not much point. And then sometimes if a horse is really short odds, and there's no way known you can get anywhere near that, and you can't do anything else, then I might sort of lay it.
Yep.
The problem is sometimes with a laying is that if you're right, a lot of other people, know the same thing. It's not sort of like one of those things where you can have everything to yourself, and then they just tend to drift.
Yeah.
So, horses, you might think, it's 5-2, or $3.50. I'm happy to lay at $3.50, but in the end, Betfair will be $4 something, and in the end, you're going to try, and you're looking at $6 to try and lay it.
Okay.
Which is virtually in the old like taking sixes on, so you're not making a lot of money.
Nah.
So it just depends. But I do a little bit of laying, not a lot. Probably should do a little bit more and probably lay multiple horses.
Yep.
But yeah, it's just, you know, with the way we discussed the other day, the market's going. It's you know, there's not a lot of fat in there, and you just got to try and do things a little bit different.
Yeah, we were saying that the other day. We look at the markets over the how tight the markets were, particularly at the top end over the spring. And yeah, I think that was your comment overall, wasn't it? Just got to be a bit better.
Yeah. I think sometimes, but then sometimes you just sort of get put off by the early market. So you know, and the markets some of them do change a little bit depending on what the big players want to be on.
Yep.
And some horses, you know, do run shorter than what price they are in the early markets and things like that. But you know, so maybe, you know, if you didn't look at them at all, and then you just went to them on after you sort of, you know, on the day, you know, then you could sort of decide what you want to go and do.
Yep.
But yeah, there's plenty of races where, you know, there's not much value to start with, you know, and it's hard when you sort of, you know, you're doing. You know, the markets are about 128 at the moment, so you've got to have, you know, so they got 28% up their sleeve. So, you know, I'm doing markets to 90. So if they get the market down 115, I'm doing it to 90. You know, I'm about 5% out, which is all right. But you know, otherwise, you know, you just you got to get some sort of over. Otherwise, you just can't make any money at all.
Yeah.
And they've got tight as it is, you know.
Yeah.
You know, so I suppose in an ideal situation, if they're doing markets at 125, you should be doing market to 75 to counteract it.
Yep.
But it's 75%. If you do markets, you just never have a bet.
Yeah.
At all.
It's a huge
basically.
gap. Yeah. Having said all that, it was pretty tight over the carnival, but then, yeah, as we said, we went to Sandown last week and had a good day. So.
Yeah, well, it's just funny how it worked. I think, you know, so for the whole Cup week, betting 3 races, which is. You know, well, it could have bet in 4 we could have bet an extra one on the first day, could have bet in 1 race on the last day, so it could have bet in 5 races, which is, you know, in years gone past would have bet in 5 races on certain days.
Yeah.
But it's just the way it was. But we did back all 3 winners.
Yeah.
So it was a profitable week, and then last week we bet in 3 races.
Yeah.
So it's not an exact, you know, thing.
Yeah.
It's just what it is. Sort of going forward. You know, from now until Christmas, the fields get a little bit skinnier, you know, and you know, the go is, you know, the races where there's 8 and 9 runners, and you can back the leader, and you know, hopefully they bet $3.80 about a horse that should be, you know, $3.20, that sort of thing, and $4 something, you know. So it starts to thin out. The Valley meetings are from now until Christmas, nearly every Friday night.
Yep.
So. Yeah, once the carnival goes over, the fields get a bit smaller and sort of does, you know, tend to be okay up till Christmas. Yeah.
So the value's there, just a bit harder to find.
Yeah, well, it's just sort of, it's hard, you know, as I say, when you're sort of pricing every horse, and you know, as we discussed, I think they've just whacked the extra percentage into the top 4 or 5 horses in the market, and then all that basically happens is all the rubbish drifts, and that's the percentage comes down. So in effect, the market really doesn't move amongst the chances, or it might shorten, and the way the percentage comes down is that the rubbish goes out.
Yep.
And they they tend to be right with the rubbish. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Anyway, we've so got a reasonable meeting at Ballarat tomorrow. So the cup itself looks a pretty wide open affair, but perhaps a little bit of value elsewhere on the card.
Yeah, hopefully, yeah. So I haven't sort of done the front end of the market, and I'm hoping that we've just got a few races to finish off at Moonee Valley tonight. So I'm hoping it might be a bit of a betting meeting, yeah, as we've discussed, you know, sort of going forward, and might be looking at a few more opportunities because it's things are getting a bit thin.
Yeah, Yeah, very good. All right. Well, yeah. Good luck for the weekend, and we'll catch you next week.
Great. Thanks, Mark. Thanks, everyone.